Introducing Instagram Teen Accounts, a new way to keep your teen safer as they grow, like making sure they always have their seatbelt on.
All right, buckle up. Good job.
New Instagram Teen Accounts, automatic protections for who can contact your teen and the content they can see.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
Hardware and Garden Stores brings you Garage Logic Podcast number 1077, May 15th, 2023. 94 degrees on this day in 2001. And 31 degrees on this day on two occasions, 1907 and 1980. If you own a lake home, the swimming season is almost upon us. Pretty good weather forecast this week. Contact Aquaside. They'll keep your beach free of weeds and algae. They've been doing that for more than 60 years with a complete line of control products that are made right there in White Bear Lake. The products are easy to use and work quickly. Registered with the EPA and DNR. Call them and tell them what you're looking at. They'll get you the right products. Call Aquaside at 1-800-328-9350 or go to aquaside.com.
And now, from the mayor's office above the boathouse on the east shore of Spoon Lake, it's Garage Logic with Chris Reavers manning Technology Corner, Kenny Olson from the Krabby Coffee Shop, John Heidt in the newsroom, and of course, the rookie. Here is your flashlight king, fireworks commissioner, and the keeper of common sense, your mayor, Joe Soucheray.
I don't know where to begin because things are falling apart faster than we imagined. Had a big fight at the Ward 10 endorsing convention in Minneapolis.
We were throwing hands.
Well, apparently one commie's not commie enough. I can't come up with any other reason why they had the fight. It's, what's her name? Aisha Chugati. She's a confirmed Marxist socialist.
Ward 10.
She holds the seat, and she was seeking the endorsement. And who's the challenger? Warsami?
Nasri Warsami.
Nasri Warsami, who might out-Marxist her, for all we know. And the only thing I can tell is that Chugati went to the stage, apparently it being her turn to be at the podium, and the Warsami's people didn't want her up there, so they went up and started chanting and throwing hands, and the next thing you know, all hell breaks loose. They're banging on tables and jumping on stage and waving signs and carrying on.
Acting foolishly.
And the coppers had to be called, and the whole thing was broken up. I was scared some of us might die, said Bridget Solander.
Yeah, a lot of pearl clutching going on here.
Was on stage with other Chugati supporters when they saw people punching and shoving and pushing each other. It was chaos, Siljander said, adding they were terrified the fight would turn into a stampede, and it felt in the moment like an insurrection.
Come on.
Siljander said those who incited the violence should be removed from the party and criminally charged. Harumph!
Harumph!
We'll have to do
Harumph!
something about this.
Immediately.
Yes.
Convention chair Sam Doughton called the behavior embarrassing. Well, your party's embarrassing. And adjourned the event without a nominee being chosen, saying it wasn't safe to continue. So now we don't know how the party will proceed to find a nominee to endorse. What difference does it make? It's going to there's scant difference between the two commies. So Ward 10, you're in for another treat there.
Such, we were talking before we began about Ward 10, and you asked me what the demographics were. And I would say now, looking at the lines like I am, I would say it's more blue collar than anything, and a lot of uptown is covered.
Yeah. Chugati said her supporters were assaulted, and She said Warsami delegates charged the stage, assaulting me and my supporters as I was about to begin my speech, and her supporters had to lock themselves in a hospitality room.
Oh, safe room.
Yeah, to get away from the conflict. What happened was horrifying, unacceptable, and indicative of the growing threat to progressive pro-people candidates and movement leaders. So are we to understand that she's accusing Warsami of not being a progressive? What is he? Is he a conservative Republican?
No.
Maybe in their mind he's too soft?
No, it's a DFL endorsement.
Warsami said that his campaign manager was assaulted by a staff member of the Trugati campaign. He later posted a picture of himself visiting an injured supporter in the hospital. I think Warsami's... Let's get to Warsami's campaign manager.
Has his name ever come up during that food fraud scandal? I'm just asking. I don't know.
For a friend.
For a friend, yeah.
For a friend.
I
it's
just
for me.
had it. I just had it. Warsami's campaign manager, according to something called the wedge, and our boys have done the homework trying to figure out what the wedge is.
That's a lot of blah, blah, blah.
It's a site in Minneapolis.
Reporting and
Oh, gee
podcasting.
whiz,
and
I have so many papers
political.
here. Warsami's campaign manager, whose name escapes me, look it up, John, please, is a leading principal in the food fraud scandal, if this wedge site is to be believed. So there's such an intramural gang of interested parties in Minneapolis to not only steal money but to hold political office, that it's hard to really sort all of this out as Minneapolis continues to fall into complete ruin. Now, I'm sorry, I had all of that.
What exactly are you looking for, Jim?
I had something from the wedge, and maybe it was on my phone. But then now I can't find my phone.
Let me call you.
No, here it is.
That old trick.
Yeah.
Oh, brother. I'm not exaggerating when I tell you that there is just so much happening right now that it's difficult to follow. I got it from Bill Glann from the Center of the American Experiment. I was reading some of his tweets, and they're terribly interesting. And here they are. And he's got Andy No quoting. Rioting broke out at the DFL endorsing convention. Supporters of opposing candidates clashed at the stage. Many of the attendees were from Somalia, where political violence apparently is routine. We also learned from Glann that the exemption for sales tax for more baby products that passed both chambers, it's no longer either in the Senate or House tax bills. So I guess moms trying to buy stuff for their babies will still pay taxes on it. Oh, hell, I hate to do this, but I guess Warsami filed his campaign as an LLC.
Yeah, I'm seeing it right here.
Which means he can keep the profits from the money he raises. Are you kidding me? These people are beyond the pale.
I have a possible reason why the fight broke out. I'm not sure if I believe it. Mm-hmm. It's in the Strib piece. A woman who attended the convention with plans to vote for Nassari said the event was poorly run. Warsami's supporters were frustrated by poor interpretations for non-English speakers and had a feeling that the convention was being run with a bias towards Shugati.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
So it was like it's like bad refs, bad umpires.
According to the wedge, Abshir Omar, whose connections to the Feeding Our Future fraud is Warsami's campaign manager. That's according to something called The Wedge, which is
That's correct. Yeah, I found that also.
Yeah.
Same guy.
Abshir Omar, a food fraudster, allegedly, is the campaign manager for fellow Somalian Warsami. That's it. This is just absolutely fascinating. Just fascinating.
According to the Minnesota reformer, Omar was deputy director of the nonprofit Tasho that ran 6 food distribution sites sponsored by Feeding Our Future, which reported serving 4,000 meals per day.
I don't think they did.
Only in America could you come as an immigrant and so quickly scam the system.
Learning that quick, huh?
First of all, if I went to Somalia, there's nothing to scam because they don't have any money. But can you imagine going to Somalia and within months holding a legislative seat and scamming the taxpayers of Somalia out of $250 million?
Isn't this just another in a litany of examples in which the people that were committing these frauds had direct ties to people that are holding office? Mm-hmm. So they all had a helping hand from someone that is currently seated and was elected.
But do you ever get the feeling that the scammers, I mean, could we place them in like sports terms? The scammers, these aren't major league scammers. These are town ball scammers. These are amateurs.
I call $250 million major league.
But they're going for the low-hanging fruit. They got caught. If they were really good, like we discussed when it was happening.
Oh, you're saying level. I see what you're saying.
They would have scammed a little bit over a long period of
They
time.
got greedy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Buying a plane.
And that's the problem with these Somali scammers.
This was Jose Canseco shooting up in the Oakland A's clubhouse going, oh, what? What's to see here? That's what you're saying.
Well, you're saying if they were more professional about it,
Yes.
they would have garnered more success.
Yeah, and that's what I'm seeing from these kind of scammers.
Yeah.
But
One
the
thing,
fact
if I
that
could...
he's- Go ahead, John. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, we talked off air. Chris was asking, or Joe, you were asking about the Republican ward, how that works.
Yes.
If we have, Chris jokingly said, "Well, already Republicans running." Chris, very close to the truth. This election comes up in November.
Yep.
We have 29 announced candidates.
Oh, my God.
27.
John, I'm sorry. For Ward 10, we have 29 candidates.
No.
Oh, I'm
For
sorry.
Every ward
Okay.
city council member, right?
All right.
29 announced, 27 are Democratic Farmer Labor Party. One is Democratic Socialists of America, and one is from the Republican Party. That is Angela Janice Williams in Ward 4. So Chris was pretty close to the truth, joking or not.
I mean, I kind of was, but I wasn't at the same time.
Yeah.
They just said, to hell with it. We've thrown in the towel.
And the DFL, because they know how to play this game and the Republicans don't, they're holding endorsing conventions to the point where they develop into a brawl.
But you know what, though? Without the physical confrontation, how different is this than, let's say, the Democratic presidential convention when all of them were just eating each other alive and then they all of a sudden got the nominee in Biden and now they're all on the same team? It's no different.
You know what broke out in Ward 10? A rhubarb.
A rhubarb?
They had a rhubarb.
Not a kerfuffle?
Wasn't it? It was above a kerfuffle. It was a rhubarb.
But you know what? We have a lot to say about the Republicans giving up, essentially. But how can you blame them?
What, the guy running,
I
the
do blame
Republican
him.
running is running for Ward 4?
Ward 4, correct.
Is that Ellison's seat?
Yeah, that's over north. I mean, that's Lowry, from the river to Lowry over to, I don't know what the hell it is on the west side.
I got to think this is happening the closer you get to the country's tallest buildings. Obviously, the progressive left Mysterians are ruining the cities of America, including Chicago, most obviously, Minneapolis and St. Paul, Portland, Seattle. I can't root for the Kraken to win the...
Oh, God, who
It's
could?
only because of their arena.
I can't root for a team that plays in a global warming arena.
Climate pledge.
I know what it is.
Same with the stupid Vegas Knights. Ward 4, though, could actually use a Republican.
Yes,
The
of course they
Ward
could.
4, a Republican would be very good for Ward 4.
But Ward 4 is not Ellison's. Ward 4 is your gal, Joe, Latricia Vito.
Oh, that's Latricia.
Oh, that's Vita.
Well,
Well, she's only been there for half a term.
Well,
2 years. Yeah, it's every 2
Vita
years.
will beat that Republican challenger. Vita, whatever it is, she seems to get it.
Yeah.
There's so much to chronicle today. Do you recall we did talk to Bill Glahn about something that we thought was going to be called a bias registry in Minnesota?
Yeah.
That if you
Hate speech.
it's not so much that the DFL has a trifecta and is accomplishing everything they want. They seem, and I don't mean this with hyperbole, they seem quite intent on not only winning everything they want, but then telling you how you're supposed to behave about it.
Yeah.
And they're not even being shy about it anymore.
Not anymore.
And telling us that they're doing for us what we asked them to do. Wait a minute.
Hold up.
This is a piece from the National Review. This isn't some right-wing talk show host bringing you this. The Minnesota would begin, well, I have the House file number. It's House File 181. And apparently this could be very well alive as the DFL trifecta concludes this legislative season. You know, it's probably going to be part of an omnibus bill or something. It won't be leaping out at people. But as part of a registry, Minnesota would begin documenting allegations of bias, hate, and microaggressions that don't amount to crimes or do not already run afoul of anti-discrimination laws.
We're keeping a file on you.
Which is increasingly becoming a testing ground for far-left policies. And the National Review is reporting this. Republican opponents have called the prospect of a biased database Orwellian and terrifying. It will chill speech, they say, and with so few guardrails, it will be ripe for abuse. Democratic lawmakers say it's needed so state leaders have a better understanding of the real level of hate and bias in various pockets of the state so they can combat it. But Minnesota Democrats have struggled to answer basic questions, clarifying, well, what information will or will not be collected? How Human Rights Department's officials will ensure the allegations they log are real, and how exactly the data they get from inside your head and dictate what sort of ideas rattle around in there. So, and this is Walter Hudson's quote. Hudson said, Democrats have batted around the idea of a biased database in the past. This year, the initiative started in single subject bills in the House and Senate. The language was then wrapped into an omnibus public safety bill that both chambers approved. The omnibus bill, which is now being finalized in conference committee, appropriates $934,000 to the Minnesota Department of Human Rights. They can't even fulfill the obligations of their department, by the way. They're an incompetent building full of bureaucrats. It will have the Minnesota Department of Human Rights gather, analyze, and report on discrimination and hate incidents throughout Minnesota. According to whom? According to language in the bill, the department will solicit, receive, and compile information from community organizations, school districts, charter schools, and individuals regarding incidents committed in whole or in substantial part because of the victim's or another's actual or perceived race, color, ethnicity, religion, sex, gender, sexual orientation, gender identity, gender expression, age, national origin, or disability.
That's it?
This is that Samantha Vang. Remember, she came up.
Yep.
Speaking before a House Public Safety panel about the initiative, Representative Samantha Vang, excuse me, a DFLer from Brooklyn Center, noted an anti-Asian discrimination during the COVID-19 pandemic is one reason she whipped this together.
I was just going to say, COVID came from China. Oops, I'm on the list.
You're on the list.
I'm on the list. Oops.
Hudson asked Vang if social media posts could be logged by the state if they reference a Bible verse that speaks in condemning terms regarding certain sexual proclivities. In a contentious floor debate, Representative Harry Niska, a Twin Cities area Republican, asked Vang if claiming that COVID-19 is a Chinese bioweapon or wearing a shirt that says, "I love J.K. Rowling" could be recorded. Rowling has run afoul of leftist crackpots for speaking out against the most extreme demands of the transgender movement. Vang's responses were typically general and evasive. She's not a lawyer, she said, though she didn't deny that any of those hypotheticals could be logged by the state. I would say it's important to let our community know that we do not tolerate hate and bias incidents in the community, Vang said. I am not going to lead my life based on what Vang approves of me saying. Go bleep yourself.
Right,
Where is the
right,
person to
right.
say, go bleep yourself?
You
Sitting right
don't
across from
have any choice.
Right.
This is North Korea, is what this
watch
is.
what you say.
We have ways of making it talk.
The walls have ears.
Wow. Hudson said the two themes emerged during debates in committees. One, that whoever takes that call at the Department of Human Rights has total discretion, complete discretion to determine whether or not it's something they're going to include in the registry. Well, at the Department of Education, whoever answered the phone couldn't even handle a food fraud scam.
Right.
Do you trust it? Well, obviously, Minnesotans trust all these people. They're just wonderful, and they collect butterflies, and they just have their best interests at heart. These are evil bastards. They're out to control the way you think. They're out to control the way you behave. I'm not making any of this up, folks. This is House File 181. Samantha Vang. You can look it up for yourself, you euphorians. Maybe you think
Hyperbole
it's great.
has become reality in this
Maybe you
state.
think it's great.
That's exactly what's happening.
So what's the next step? Well, first of all, I'm on House File. It's 181. I can't find that it's gone anywhere.
It's been
people
tucked
have been
into it's been tucked into the omnibus public safety bill. It's alive somewhere. They just play their games to get it passed.
If the omnibus safety bill passes, this does
would be
too,
part of it, yeah.
without any discussion.
Well, they've had their discussion, and
they had a bunch of discussion. I'm reading all about it, and boy, it's
So what's going to happen to this information? Kenny just said COVID came from China. Next week, Kenny's going to say something else. Following week, it's pretty soon I'm going to have a really thick file. None of these things are against the law. They all fall under free speech. But what's the end result here? To me, are they going to take my home like they want to do if I'm a day late on my taxes, or garnish my paycheck? What do they want to do?
Let's figure out the answer to that when we come back. I want to tell you that I was at a grilling festivity yesterday, and they were not Grunhofer brats.
I bet they were horrible.
Did you walk away?
And I could tell because they didn't have that zing and zest.
Yeah.
I'm serious.
Big difference.
I'm serious. But these were non-podcast listeners who were unaware of Grunhofer. So I slipped him the word.
Okay, now give the word.
I gave him the whole conversion speech. And I think the next time they'll be the Grunhofer's brats because there's 140 different flavors. It's Minnesota beef for Minnesota farmers. It's the go-to meat emporium of garage logicianship grilling season, which is underway. And man, can you tell the difference? I'm not kidding.
I agree. Preaching the choir here, bro.
Really, you really can. And when you're up there, load up on everything else: the steaks, the chops, the pork shoulders, the thick cut, double cut, thick smoked,
Double smoked ham.
smoked, thick cut bacon. I got it finally. I got it out.
Stuffed chicken.
Everything you want. Ham, fish. How about fish?
Okay, if that's your thing.
Salmon. Kenny
that's Kenny
gnaws on that
representing me.
raw right in the truck. It's fantastic. It's Grunhofer's Old Fashioned Meats in Hugo, right at north of Hugo on Highway 61, and in Forest Lake on Highway 97, just east of the Interstate 35. Grunhofer's Old Fashioned Meats.
Garage Logic Town Council member? Here's what you're missing.
I forgot to tell you guys that we stopped at the National Eagle Center down in Wabasha.
I'll excuse that.
Yeah, it was really neat. Yeah. I was the hit of the lobby when I grabbed an eagle puppet and stood up and started singing On Eagle's Wings. I had the entire...
God, what an embarrassment.
So I'm going to post that on Twitter. I hope you'll give it a watch.
And here's what...
Raise you up on eagle's wings.
And here's what you're going to do. You're going to tag every single TV and radio host in the market because you are so God-blessed needy.
Go behind the scenes of Garage Logic with unfiltered audio and video access, invites to exclusive events, an emailed newsletter from the mayor himself, and more by signing up at garagelogic.com.
Something here I'm taking, I'm guessing.
Yes, sir.
Here's a man who spends hours in hardware stores, sifting through the nuts and bolts of life. Joe Souchere.
What day?
Monday.
The 15th.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. That means the Trio Stato, Toro Time Cutter zero-turn mowers, that sale continues. You got to listen to these prices. These are pretty amazing machines. If you've got a smallish yard, you'll like the 42-inch Time Cutter zero-turn. What you're really going to like, though, is the price, $2,999. Oh, man, that is just, let's go. Load it up. Let's go. Paperwork? Yeah, whatever. If you don't have a huge yard, yeah, that's your baby. Sorry, it's the medicine talking. The 50-inch Time Cutter, that's $3,499. But if you've got acreage, and some of that acreage is rough, let me tell you, the 60-inch Titan Max zero-turn with the MyRide suspensions, like riding on a cloud, this is the one you want for $6,499. The MyRide suspension, amazing. And the Kawasaki engines they throw on these things, they just eat the yard up. Super powerful, very reliable. The Toro design and build is the best. You got to realize Toro's been around for 3-4 million years. They know how to do it, okay? So when you go into Tri-State, just start snooping under the hood and, check what the hell. Jesus, look how they built this thing. It's brilliant. Tri-State Bobcat, you'll find 3 locations in the Metro, Burnsville, Little Canada, and Hudson. And if you're anywhere near O-Town, Mankeys. Let me try that again. Mankeys. There we go. In O-Town, also part of the Tri-State Bobcat family. Check out the website, tristatebobcat.com. Oof.
Again, from the National Review, the Senate file on this bill is 2909. The House file is 181. Senate file 2909 is currently being finalized in a conference committee before heading to Tim Walz's desk, according to the National Review. So, and that utter failure will sign it. He has signed everything you've put in front of him. I don't know why he chose to participate in ruining the state, but he has. This is unconscionable. I can't believe it, but it's happening. And I'm not making this up. Minnesota has before it a bill that would record. Apparently, you'll be able to call the Department of Human Rights and say, my neighbor just called me a poopy poop. And
I don't like it.
I don't like that, and I want something done about it. Now, what's being done about it is interesting. What I can imagine many of these nutcases would call and complain about this show, for example.
Oh, God. We're going to be on the list daily.
Well, but what would the state... It logically would follow, then, that the state would figure out a way to take the show off the air.
Garnish the wages.
Well, Hubbard wouldn't allow that.
Don't think they have any choice?
Well, my point is, what's to come of this? Samantha Vang, you do the people of Minnesota no favors. I find you despicable in your thinking. You have no reason to understand the preciousness or the history of the First Amendment. You have come to the legislature like many other members with single issues in mind. I find you, again, despicable. This is unconscionable.
The First Amendment is white privilege, Joe.
You know what might happen, though? The likes of Walls, if they heard all this hate speech on our show, might not come on.
Walls would write Joe Souchere's name at the top of the list.
This is from a site called, this is the National Review. The other site is from, there's a Canadian site called Life Site News. They report on this also. You've read not a single word about this in the Star Tribune or the Pioneer Press. I don't know. I can't speak for the Pioneer Press because there's just not enough paper left to wonder. But you wonder about the Star Tribune if it's just hoping to become the paper of the mystery, rather than fight for conventional American values and traditions. If the Star Tribune is just patiently waiting to be slotted as the representative mouthpiece of what's happening.
Do you think
so they could survive that way and then and not pretend anymore to find such things as a bias registry troubling? Apparently, they would be accepting of that.
This is amazing, Joe. I thought it was interesting that I don't know if it was the New York Post or one of them had a little piece on it, but this is from Canada.
Mm-hmm.
Minnesota Democrats push government bias registry to track conservative speech.
Mm-hmm. And again, I don't have any faith. I would love to have faith in the Pioneer Press, but it's a very depleted outfit.
No, it's already the voice of the mystery.
The Pioneer Press is less the voice of the mystery than the Star Tribune.
No, I'm sorry. I was referring to the Star Tribune. Yeah, that's...
But you're just... The inevitable conclusion you must reach is that, yes, you can still turn to it and presumably get a baseball score from the previous day and maybe find out what's on television. But all of the news and the opinions would be reinforcing of the mystery because they're choosing not to point out the First Amendment, which has been the principal dynamic of a free press in this country for 200 years. They're willing to apparently ignore the fact that some crackpot named Samantha Vang is out to undo it. And they haven't said a word about it. They did
the same thing a couple of weeks ago until it was
what
passed.
was it? What was it?
We talked about it in the show.
Yeah, I was racking my brains. By the way,
talking about the cartoonist getting taken to the shed?
No, it was something in the legislature.
Yeah.
Hold on, I'll pull it
And
up.
we kept asking, why aren't we reading anything about?
Oh,
but you know what?
Kenny, you know what it was? It was the not the pronoun, but the language with which we weren't going to associate with pedophiles. They waited until then.
Oh, yeah. Where was the story? We kept asking.
Yeah, they didn't cover it beforehand.
If you're listening from elsewhere in the country and you're not in the state of Minnesota, I would love to tell you that much of what we're telling you is exaggeration, but it's not. Minnesota is a test case for complete collapse.
No.
Financial and ideologically.
You're phrasing this wrong. If you're listening from another state, could you please contact us and tell us what the hell's going on in our state? By the way, the St. Cloud Times did report this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good.
So hats off to them.
Do you think newspaper readership, politically, give me the divide there, Republican, Democrat. Do you think it's 50-50? You're for both papers and locally here?
Oh, it literally is so hard to say because the readership of newspapers is so significantly declined that it's really hard to gauge the political affiliation of readers.
But that would be my question. What would the Star Tribune have to gain then? Are these extreme lefties newspaper readers?
The Minneapolis paper would skew possibly towards a younger reading audience than the Pioneer Press.
Okay.
I'm very confident in suggesting the Pioneer Press would skew a much older readership. and we're losing them, 10 a day. The Star Tribune is skewing towards a much younger readership, and I can't go much beyond that with my imagination for what's going to happen. But it seems to me that they just seem perfectly willing to be the newspaper of the mystery. They've
been practicing.
I'm not sure that they. Well, that's all I can say. I wish they weren't, but I think they are.
When you first started reading to us were you reading to us from the Life Site story?
No, National Review.
Because they phrased it much in the same way you did. And they use words that are really frightening. The State Department of Human Rights, they will be required to collect allegations of perceived discrimination or microaggressions.
And then what do you do to that person?
I've been looking that up, and all I can find is they don't want it to prosecute or whatever. They want to use it as a basis to make legislation. Basically, so they have, we had 200 reports of whatever discrimination.
It'll be like the Family Leave Act. You know what they'll use it for? The creation of another large government bureaucracy.
Exactly.
Where they can employ another 600 people.
My approach is too much black helicopter because this paragraph is also disturbing. Their proposal would allow people to submit reports of alleged slurs or verbal attacks in similar incidents. That to me says, Chris Reavers said something in the lunchroom that I don't like. I'm contacting Big Brother and letting them know.
What I can tell is they will not come after Chris Reavers, but they will make sure that what he said is part of the record when they want to make legislation of some sort. So I think Joe's probably on the right track there. They want to expand government even more.
And the legislation would accomplish the development of a new bureaucracy. But then you have to ask the question, well, I suppose given that they're stealing money anyway, they probably wouldn't expect the new bureaucracy to do anything. You'd just be employing 600 more people. To do what? To
live off the government teat.
To file this stuff.
Yep.
Okay, for what purpose? Well, because we have to file it in triplicate. That's what we do here at the Office of Proper Speech.
You need cover letters in your TPS reports.
That's absolutely correct.
Because there's nothing they can do about it. It's always going to happen, and it's always been dealt with one way or the other. As long as there's no, physical whatever, people going after people, what's the issue, aside from people being dumb?
Minnesota.
Wait a second. Maybe Kenny's not so paranoid. The bill does not explicitly prevent collecting names of reported offenders.
Oh, boy.
Right. So you can have your name.
Yeah.
Your name will be on the Hall of Fame.
And will you get in your citation when you're getting your citation in the mail? Does it give you where you were located at the time of said offense?
Camera picture.
You would think so.
Sure. Time of day.
So. Yeah.
Well, there won't be, but they'd have to make a law at that point, because there's no law that says
hold our beer.
I can't call Kenny whatever I want to call him.
It's too late. You already have many, many times.
It's hurtful.
Yeah, and I apologize.
No, I don't accept your apology. It notably includes sexual orientation, gender identity, and gender expression as protected classes, meaning that the opposition to LGBT ideology could land somebody on the registry. And like you said at the outset, Such, that happens right in church.
Mm-hmm. I did say that?
Yeah, you mentioned church. Yep.
I did? But here,
excuse me, yes, you did.
Here, when we had our discussions last week on why the DFL is just kicking ass over the Republicans, we also came to the realization, and nobody really contested it, that the DFLers who are no longer the DFLers of your father's generation, these are new Marxist socialists, they don't like the country. If you loved this country, you wouldn't advance this type of bill.
No.
Because this bill is opposed to the First Amendment.
It's extraordinarily anti-American.
It's an anti-American
I think,
as you can get. Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
And who's leading the charge?
Samantha Vang, who's not born in America. Well, maybe she was born in America. I don't know. That's neither here nor there.
But her like-minded
I'll probably
people.
go on the register if I say something
Yeah,
hurtful.
Very, very hurtful.
Yeah.
We should have Walter Hudson on. He's a Republican who came out, one of our guys who came out against this.
Right.
He's making some
Get
good
him on
points.
this week.
Okay.
Good points here on Twitter. Is he a black dude?
Yeah.
He looks like a black dude.
We better get going so we can get Johnny's news.
We should.
I got a week of scooter riding.
You did?
Facing me. Well, facing me. It's finally clearing up. Miserable Saturday. Yesterday was nice for Mom's Day.
Yep.
A little chilly for scooters, but the scooter's coming out this week. EcoFun takes care of it for me. They delivered it. It's back home. EcoFun Motorsports in Forest Lake in Burnsville, where you can get all those gas-powered scooters that turn every urban errand into an adventure, the youth recreational equipment. It is, of course, your headquarters for electric bicycles. Kaylin Bloom is the expert. You'll get they got a giant parking lot. It's like an Indy 500 track. So you get on, you can test drive all the electric bikes and make sure you get the right one, the right fit, the right equipment.
I loved when I rode one of those babies.
Everything. They've got Vanderhall Roadsters and golf carts and 4x4s and youth equipment. It's really a nifty place. It's EcoFun Motorsports in Forest Lake. It's on 97, just west of 35. You can't miss it. Brand new big facility that opened last summer. And in Burnsville on the Service Road of Life near County Road 42. They got the helmets, the apparel, the whole deal. EcoFunMotorsports.com.
Oh, I have one's coming on here.
It's the end of the world as we know it, and he feels fine. Joe Souchere.
That crooked, janky, twisted, hilly, icky yard of yours, just put it in the hands of ProTurf. First of all, you've got to get them to throw down their chemicals and fix that up. No more weeds, green grass, thick, luscious, the whole deal. You've been hearing me talk about it for years. But the landscaping division, that's what's going to put the cherry on top. They're going to work with you to design the most awesome living landscape situation you could possibly imagine, and they'll actually show it to you before they even start. It's voodoo. Don't ask me how they do it. They just do it. But anything you need, trees, shrubs, flowers, mulch, rock sod, concrete pavers, stone pavers, it doesn't matter. They can do it, and they will make it look sharp. The best lawn in the neighborhood and an amazing outdoor environment. You can see all their work at professionalturf.com.
Here's Johnny Heidt.
Thank you,
You better
Joe.
watch what you say.
Right.
Yeah, you dirt. Oh, never mind.
No?
This news.
We're all
this
sitting
news.
here with notebooks and pens just waiting to write down something.
What are they going to do? Give you a ticket?
Well, that's my fear,
1 hour and 2 minutes, Joe said. Then I'm going to call.
I
this
called
news-
Samantha Vang. I'll do it again, honey. If you're listening, you're despicable.
Well, just the point that you just called her honey.
Yep, and you're
alone.
a honey. Honey.
Sexist.
Yeah,
If I
you
call her
pig.
anti-American, I suppose I'd go on the list too.
That's
then.
right.
Well, this news update is brought to you by the friends at professionalturf.com. Alphonse and Elvis were out here today. They did my aeration of my front lawn, and the front lawn is looking gorgeous.
Alphonse and Elvis?
That's how they signed the sheet. I don't know if that's their real names, but I'll settle for that.
Were they a nightclub duo back in the early 80s?
Do they have a
news.
machine that they follow around with that? That looks like a demanding job.
They have two. One, the guy rides on, and it just goes thump, 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 thump.
Yeah,
pulls
yeah.
out the core samples.
Yeah.
Not samples, but and then there's one a guy pushes, does the same thing. So,
Huh.
It took them 10 minutes.
Those guys put in a hard day of work, boy.
Yeah. In news, the story we started with today, a little more information now. Things didn't go so well at the Ward 10 DFL convention this weekend. It was being held at the Ella Baker Center in Minneapolis with a fight breaking out, causing elected officials and others to run for safety. Now, this morning, DFL Chair Ken Martin says he'll call an emergency meeting later this week to address what happened and propose laws to stop incidents like this in the future.
Rook, look that up. Where's the Ella Baker Center? Go ahead, John.
Quentin Watham-Okama.
It's in Uptown.
Quentin Watham-Okama is the DFL co-sergeant at arms volunteer that was there when all this happened. He said there started to be some scuffles. I was trying to de-escalate to the best of my ability, and that's when things really broke out into chaos.
The Rhubarb.
Rhubarb. He said it all happened when incumbent city council member Aisha
Chugati.
Thank you, boy. Chugati was about to address the crowd on stage, but supporters of challenger Nasri Warsami took the stage instead. Watham-Okama said, we want people to be passionate about our party and about our process, but there's a line. What happened there is folks started shoving and using physical intimidation and accusing folks, and it just kept evolving. Minneapolis police said multiple people were injured. When officers got to the scene, they said nobody was fighting at that time and nobody was arrested. Watham-Okama says he's been doing this kind of work for over a decade, but he said seeing this was a first for him. Warsami explained he requested for people to stop the violence, but that went unanswered. He also called on DFL leaders to bring in extra security in the future. In a statement, Chugati called what happened horrifying and unacceptable.
I don't remember a lot of Somalis living in Ward 10.
I don't know.
And doesn't this pretty much ensure a Chugati victory? This guy's not going to get 3 votes, is he?
Oh my God, he might. He's got the riotous crowd. He's got a lot of people.
Riotous.
Am I the only person that's never heard it referred to as a rhubarb?
I've never heard of that either.
Really?
Oh yeah.
You've never heard it in baseball?
It's an old baseball term. When the bench is empty, that's a rhubarb.
I've never heard it referred to that.
Yeah. Well, you could look it up.
Rhubarb's a plant in the backyard that Mom makes the pie with.
Right. I don't know why a fight would be called a rhubarb, but you could look that up and learn something.
It's a good pie.
I thought that was when you put your mouth on your little, like your 6-month-old little girl on her belly, and you go. Isn't that a rhubarb?
That's a raspberry.
That's a raspberry.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh.
The legislature now has a week to wrap things up. May 22nd is the day slated for adjournment, but apparently Melissa Hortman would like to get out of there Thursday or Friday, so she thinks they might be able to wrap up before then.
Oh, where's she going, John?
None of your business, Will. Late Friday night, the Senate passed a public safety bill that includes background checks for gun show sales and a procedure under which judges could remove guns from individuals determined to be dangerous, and also apparently a bias reporting part of the bill.
Sure.
Yeah.
At this point, we're all in, huh?
Yeah.
The
You ever
House
find
was
out where that
poised.
is?
Kenny said it was in whatchamacallit.
So you stopped looking?
Yeah, it's in Uptown. It's in Uptown. Aren't the red flag laws already in place? Now, do we have 2 versions of the same?
House.
Don't we have 2 versions of the same law now?
I have no idea.
I don't know.
All right.
The House was poised Saturday to pass the public safety measure and send it to Governor Walz's desk, but at the last minute, leaders adjourned the weekend session and pushed the vote to today. Republicans in the House aired frustrations with Democrats on Saturday, accusing DFLers of negotiating major bills behind closed doors instead of in public conference committees. House Democrats adjourned without taking up the public safety bill after shouting matches broke out on the floor. Republicans used long speeches and parliamentary motions to delay the chamber from voting on the bills on Saturday.
It's almost like they're rushing to get done. Could there be a reason for that?
There is, Joe. I have it from a mole on the inside.
Right. It's almost like you're in a hurry.
They always go long.
It's been reported
Yeah.
that the legislature might finish early this year.
Okay.
What has not been reported, but I have heard firsthand, is that one of the reasons is because Speaker Hortman, excuse me. Yep, sorry. Speaker Hortman has a class reunion that she would like to attend this weekend.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, all the news stories have noted that she would like to wrap up Thursday or Friday, but they haven't noted the class reunion.
She's got a reunion to get to.
Wait a minute.
We're gonna
Look her up. Where'd she go to high school?
such
Melissa
a
Hortman.
we're gonna put to rest the state's business.
Yeah.
She's doing one of these.
It's like in
Wrap her
Texas during football season, in church, all the guys in the back, they're all pointing at their watch.
Keep it
lifting their
fair.
arm
Keep
up.
it fair.
Let's go. Amen.
Or Kenny Friday afternoon about 1:25. Joe, come
Yeah.
on here.
Heavy
See where
rain and
she's from,
flooding.
Rook.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Heavy rain and flooding closed a few highways yesterday in southern Minnesota. It's believed to be the cause of a mudslide on Highway 68 south of Cortland, according to the Minnesota Department of Transportation. Reports of the mudslide were first made to MnDOT around 4 in the morning. MnDOT Assistant Maintenance Manager Chase Fester said the road was closed for about 6 hours. A couple of cars were damaged going through it, but luckily nobody was hurt. Fester considered it a small-scale mudslide. He estimated it was 10 times smaller than one he remembers back in the same spot in 2018. He said at that point, material was 8 to 10 feet deep across the road. Fester expects Highway 93 near Henderson to be closed at least for the next couple of days, and Highway 19 east of the city to be closed at least through this afternoon.
All right, here's Melissa Hortman's bio.
1988 grad. She was born in Fridley.
Yep.
Blaine High School.
Oh,
and when those Bengals
she's
get
a
together,
Bengal.
man,
Bengals party, baby.
they
You want to be
hit
there.
it hard.
That'd be
You know what I hope
35th
happens?
then, huh?
She goes back to her high school reunion and everyone gives her the business about what's going on in the state. Wouldn't that be
See,
spectacular?
I'm the opposite of her. I would prolong the work so I wouldn't have to go to the reunion.
When's the last one you went to, Joe?
Yeah, that was my question. Have you been to one?
I don't think I have. If I have, it's been to one, and I can't remember when that would have been.
Rookie, I bet you've been to every single one.
Pretty much. Pretty
Yeah.
much. When those 87 Raiders get together, whoever's the first man out is
I
is
think I
dealt
went
with
to one
appropriately.
high school and one college, and that's it.
Really?
College.
I've never had a college reunion. Yeah, it's interesting.
Couple
My
Brown
10th was-
Institute. Let's go.
10th was a blast. Loved the 10th because everybody was still around.
I might have gone to the 10th
I haven't
when
been
you
to
could
one.
still recognize people.
Yeah, no, I'm not
I
going.
got the 50th coming up in a couple of years.
Wow, John.
I'm not hauling my fat ass out of the chair, driving 2 miles into town to go see these morons. Talk about what I've been doing.
2 miles. 2 miles.
What you been up to, Kenny?
I've been minding my own business,
Kenny, got any
asswipe.
plans?
Kenny, if you ever do decide to go to an Alexandria reunion, please dress up like you did in that football picture from back in the day
Oh, my God.
with the big fro and the shades.
I thought it was like an animal or something. No. Picture of an animal.
One of my favorite pictures of all time.
Had the big hair from the 80s.
Big, yeah. One other story before we take a little break here. AM radio we're going to talk about now. Of course, it started a while back. AM radios were being left out of new cars. And now because of electric vehicles, it's becoming much more common. Automakers like BMW, Volkswagen, Mazda, and Tesla are removing AM radios from new electric vehicles because of all the static. And
No,
Ford,
it's
one
because
of-
they want to kill evil talk radio.
And Ford, one of the nation's top 3 auto sellers, is taking an even bigger step, eliminating the AM from all of its vehicles, whether electric or gas powered.
How are you supposed to listen to the ball game?
I don't know, Herb.
Well, you can still listen on FM.
Yeah, they're on FM, Joe.
They're on FM too. Yeah, 82 million Americans still listen to AM stations every month, according to the National Association
They
of
just
Broadcasters.
didn't listen to us.
Right.
But the AM audience, according to the NAB, has been aging for decades.
Yeah.
Ford says its data pulled from internet-connected vehicles shows that less than 5% of in-car listening is to an AM radio station. Ford spokesman Alan Hall said that's because of a couple of reasons. One, most of the AM stations also offer the programming online or on FM sister stations. That's how you'd listen to the ball game, Joe. The automaker says it'll continue to offer alternatives for customers to hear their favorite AM radio music and news as they remove AM from their new models.
You know, I believe that one of the concluding decisions that led to this, John, was they heard this bit of audio and said, you know what, we're done. We're done completely with AM.
Brash and aggressive, but still willing to laugh at ourselves when it's necessary. 1500
What
ESPN.
the hell? Wow.
What are you giggling about over there?
This is the greatest thing I've ever heard of. It's called the American Institute of Non-Destructive Testing. You're wondering, what does that mean? I wondered the same thing, too.
Technology.
It's a school based in Baxter, up near Brainerd. Okay. They have tremendous placement rate success. They do.
You sound great, by the way.
It combines class.
It's a school?
That was
an online academy.
Okay.
It's like a 2-year gift you gave me, Such. Thank you for that.
And they said, you know what, AM, we're good. We're good.
It's funny, they sent me all the information, and it made perfect sense. And it was so awesome that I almost quit the show.
It's a hell of a
Go up there and take the course and start making some real adult
I wish they'd
money.
come back with us now that I know what the hell they do.
Right.
Oh, you're going to take it from me then?
Yes, I would.
Yeah. On that note, we'll have some more news in a minute, but right now let's hear from our buddy, the Rookster.
Thank you, Johnny Cake. I got to tell you about Minnesota Masonic Charities.
Why not?
They're an outfit that in 2006, several long-standing charities of Minnesota Masonry combined to create one umbrella organization, and that is now Minnesota Masonic Charities.
And it doesn't have anything to do with this evil government.
Not at all. On the contrary, they are helping people and not requiring the government to do anything.
Get out of their way.
Exactly. That's what they're going to do. They've been doing this for quite some time, and I've been to their campus in Bloomington. It is fantastic. They have a nice museum there about their history, and the reason that they're on Garage Logic right now is they want to get the word out for the good that they're doing, and then hopefully you'll jump on board and help out as well. Go to their website, poke around, mnmasoniccharities.org. If you want to call someone and talk to somebody, you can. They'll brag about themselves. 952-948-6200. Compassionate, committed, and capable. Also, check out their wonderful scholarships. They got a great deal, and you can find out all the information that you need at mnmasoniccharities.org.
We haven't had many roofers join us on Garage Logic, but Pete is with us from Hire a Pro, and he wants to explain to you how they do what they do.
Hey, Joe, in the end, I got tired of door knockers, and, the profits on residential roofing are obscene. I came up with a better way to get it done. At Hire a Pro, we help the homeowner get their roof replaced from their insurance proceeds so that they can earn what a roofing company normally would in profits instead.
Yeah, but I thought it works like this. The homeowner isn't supposed to make money on their insurance claim.
So let me ask you this. When it hails on the roof of somebody who owns a roofing company, do you think the insurance company is making them find another company to do the job?
No.
That's right. It's legal to make money on it, but it's illegal for a contractor to pay you for the job. Most people just don't know a crew. They don't know what materials to get. We take care of all of that for them so that they can earn like a roofing company would, replacing their own roof.
So look, if insurance has approved your roof replacement, give these guys a call at 651-402-3400. That's 651-402-3400, or visit them online at hirea.pro. That's hire, then put the dot there, pro.
Truth, justice, and the suture.
Okay, go ahead, Such. Ask me, what am I doing after the show?
What are you doing after the show?
Well, I'll tell you what, Joe. I'm going to run over to Alexandria and buy myself a one-man post hole auger, a little powered unit. When I get it home, the first thing I'm going to do?
Add a dollop.
Give it a shot right away. Oh, Seafoam, I love the stuff. And, my brand new post hole auger, even though I'm only going to use it 10 times and probably never pick it up again, it's gonna get a steady diet of Seafoam. So when I go to sell it and the guy comes over and I'm going to say, that thing hasn't been started in years. It's going to start in the first pull. The guy's going to pay me my full price. It's going to be awesome. Just another advantage of using Seafoam. It's the DIY stuff that helps our engines last longer and just make us a lot happier. Pour it in and you're done. Truly a wonderful product in a world of bad gas. Seafoam.
Say, John and guys,
yes.
I got a great note from Mark Glodek, who says, thanks for the laughs, insight, and fun adventures with the crew. My membership has arrived. Proud member of the town council. And he sent a picture of what appears to be a Porsche with the town council.
I saw that.
Decal right in the front window.
I meant to ask him if it was okay to post that, but I didn't want to post it.
Well, that's up to him, not me.
Yeah, I was going to email him back.
Thank you for joining, Mark.
Very cool photo.
Yeah.
I know that name. He sends us some stuff from time to time, right?
Yes.
I
He
did
has in
not
the past.
recognize it.
Yeah.
Here's Johnny.
Thanks, Joe. One thing before I get back to the news, I looked up just by chance the one Republican who's running for the Minneapolis City Council with the 28 Democrats, Democratic Socialists.
Yeah, up in four.
Pardon me?
Up in four, right? Yeah.
Yep. And Angela Janice Williams is her name. Now, I guess if I had looked this up first, I'd have probably thought she was a Democrat too.
Yeah.
Her main things are public safety initiatives. Okay,
Yeah.
that's fine. Second, climate equity justice.
Oh.
Go Latricia Vitaw.
Transportation equity.
Yeah, you got to have equity.
Yeah, and then tenant rights and fair housing. So I'm
what
not
the
sure.
hell is transportation equity?
I'm not really sure.
You know, it'd be fun to go up to Ward 4, stand on a corner, and ask the voters.
Yeah.
Yeah, how do you feel about the old climate?
Yeah.
The what?
I wonder if, much like the rest of the Republican Party in the great Twin Cities metro area, does she make her own signs?
She has one sign. She has it at her house.
With a Sharpie, made it herself.
Right.
Transportation equity would be if someone was on light rail and they didn't know how to sit. So you, as a person who sat, you would have to say, here's what you do. You put your bottom down right here on the seat.
Just don't sit on
equity. We're both sitting.
That's a dirty needle. Don't sit there. That's a broken meth pipe. Don't sit there.
Don't do that.
That's a little, I don't know what that is, blood or throw up. I wouldn't sit there either.
Speaking of mass transportation, this story out of New York City with the Navy SEAL.
Yep.
This is a bad deal here, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know.
Go ahead.
I don't know the story.
The Navy SEAL
How could you not know this story?
that choked the guy to death that was threatening passengers.
Unfortunately, I do know that
he's
story.
Now being charged because the defender caved to public pressure. So, great.
In other news, the number of migrants seeking to cross the southern U.S. border was markedly down during the past 2 days, bucking expectations of a surge after pandemic-era border rules expired. The U.S. Border Patrol has, quote, experienced a 50% drop in the number of encounters versus what they experienced earlier in the week before those restrictions, known as Title 42, were lifted. Well, Mayorkas, who is the Secretary of Homeland Security, Secretary Alexander, said it's too soon to say whether numbers have peaked. Border agents reported about 6,300 encounters Friday, 4,200 on Saturday, down from about 10,000 a day early last week. Relative calm prevailed over the weekend in El Paso, Texas, which has been receiving throngs of asylum seekers passing through neighboring Mexico. The huge crowds of people from Central America, South America, the Caribbean have dwindled to groups of dozens on both sides of the border.
Well, we've been doing this all wrong then. There should be no enforcement at the border at all. Just say, come on in. That'll get them to start thinking about, well, why? Well,
the trick.
What do you got going over there? Come on in.
Everything's free.
No, never mind. I'm going to go home. It was fun when I had to sneak in, but why are you asking me to come in?
Why is this too easy?
I'm not coming in there.
Americans are keeping their cars longer than ever. The average age of a passenger vehicle on the road hit a record 12 and a half years this year. That, according to data gathered by the S&P Global Mobility. Sedans are even older on average, 13.6 years. It's blamed mostly on the pandemic, which in 2020 triggered a global shortage of automotive computer chips, the vital component that runs everything from radios to gas pedals to transmissions. Prices reached record highs, and though they've eased somewhat, the cost of a vehicle still feels too expensive for a lot of Americans, especially when coupled with now much higher loan rates. Since the pandemic struck 3 years ago, the average new vehicle has gone up 24% to about $48,000 as of April. Typical loan rates about 7%. It all pushed the national average monthly auto loan payment to $729, prohibitively too high for many. Experts say a family earning the median U.S. household income can no longer afford the average new car payment and still cover the necessities. Used vehicle prices have surged also, up 40% to nearly $29,000. With an average loan rate reaching 11%, the typical monthly used vehicle payment now $564. Faced with deciding between making a jumbo payment and keeping their existing vehicles, more owners are choosing to stick with the old cars, even if it means spending more on repairs and maintenance.
2004 Honda Pilot with 260,000 miles on it, and she is, 19 years old?
They're making them better than they used to.
Changing the oil religiously.
Oh, Hondas and Toyotas have always been high mileage vehicles.
And as far as sedans go, it stands to reason you'd keep one because they're getting to be rarely manufactured anymore.
Yeah.
They're mostly trucks and SUVs.
Right.
The value of my truck actually went up. Mm-hmm. What the hell? Makes no sense.
Turkey's presidential election will be decided in a runoff. Election officials announced this morning after incumbent Recep Erdogan pulled ahead of his chief challenger but fell short of an outright victory. That would increase his increasingly authoritarian rule into a third decade. The May 28th second-round vote will determine whether the strategically located NATO country remains under the president's firm grip or would embark on a more democratic course promised by his main rival, Kemal Kılıçdaroğlu. I practiced that many times.
Nice.
While Erdogan has governed for 20 years, opinion polls had suggested that run could be coming to an end, and that's then a cost of living crisis and criticism over the government's response to that February earthquake might redraw the electoral map. Instead, Erdogan's retreat was still less marked than predicted, with his alliance retaining its hold on the parliament. It looks like he's now in a good position to win in the second round of voting.
John, that's fantastic. But do you guys want to hear about what's happening at the failed University of St. Thomas?
Sure do.
Can hardly wait.
Well, then take a break and come back and let's do it.
But how about first I let you and the Jeelers know that it's officially mosquito season.
It's that time.
It is the season. And you know what? We had about 10 seconds of sunlight over the course of the weekend. So I sat outside last night and noticed, I better get on the horn with my friends at Mosquito Shield. MoShield.com. Joe, there's no dash. MoShield.com. Go on their website, just enter in your zip code, and you're going to find them. Or give the crew, it's Kelsey and Mike, a call today at 612-619-1556. Mention GL, and you're going to get $50 off of your service. They are the best, and they work. Trust me. Their territory, by the way, for Ray and Mike, the father and son team, it runs from East 169 all the way up to 35W to the St. Croix Forest Lake and south to Lakeville. Getting rid of mosquitoes and ticks is their expertise. They're not like other pest control companies or lawn cares that also spray for bugs. They focus only on the mosquitoes and the ticks. 612-619-1556 or MoShield.com. Let them know you heard about them here on the Garage Logic Podcast.
Big event coming up from the GLers at DK Mags in June. DK Mags is providing a Sig Sauer Try Before You Buy event at the Metro Gun Club on June 3rd from 10 to 5 p.m. Sig Sauer will have a lane at Metro Gun Club and lane for DK Mags customers to try a number of Sig rifles and pistols. Along with this one-day only event, DK Mags will also be offering 10% off on Sig Sauer firearms and accessories and 15% off Sig ammo. And Saturday will be the last day to qualify for the $60 Sig Sauer web store promotion. And if that's not enough, DK Mags will be giving away a Metro Gun Club pistol membership. Just sign up when you try a Sig Sauer on June 3rd. And when you visit DK Mags, be sure to sign up for a chance to win a second membership. Remember, all of the same pricing available at their other location, Monticello Pawn and Gun. DK Mags is on Old 8 in New Brighton and on the web. They're at dkmags.com.
Do this.
And now, a man who has never had a relationship with a tree, Joe Souchere.
You know, in L.A. now they got a new idea.
What's going on? Trendy L.A. What do we got?
This is great.
Most traffic enforcement should be done by civilians.
Yikes.
Oh, really?
What could go wrong?
Yeah.
How's this going to work?
Only in tandem with major infrastructure upgrades that improve safety along city streets are among the nation's deadliest. This is from the Los Angeles Times. There's a report from the City Transportation Department that says Police, you could diminish the role of the police and bring in, Barney Fife to arrest you for speeding or something. I don't even want to read it.
No,
Well, no, I want to know how this works.
The debate over what role police should have in enforcing traffic safety comes amid an alarming year-long rise in road deaths and injuries. It illustrates both the promise and challenge of removing armed officers from traffic safety duties. Transportation safety advocates say persistent traffic violence, particularly in low-income neighborhoods, shows the city needs to crack down harder on reckless driving. And supporters of criminal justice want a less punitive approach because this letting criminals off the hook is a disease everywhere. So they say communities that have historically borne the brunt of over-aggressive policing have not made the streets safer. And so they say that we should have a self-enforcing infrastructure, narrower streets.
No. Wow.
Dedicated bike lanes.
Of course.
And more clearly marked pedestrian crosswalks. Then we can slow the traffic, discourage speeding, and it's much like Vision Zero,
right,
unveiled in 2015 by Eric Garcetti to end traffic deaths within a decade. They would increase safety and reduce the need for active enforcement in high-injury network corridors, low-income communities, and communities of color. They said it should be not reliant on law enforcement. The city could use unarmed civilians to enforce safety-related traffic violations, such as speeding, in the same vein as cities such as Berkeley, Oakland, and Philadelphia.
Unarmed, you said?
Unarmed.
Oh, that's a great idea.
That takes a little bit of the fun out of it.
Yeah.
But the whole time you're talking, I'm thinking, now what vehicle am I? Do I need a Cobra, or I need something that steers but also does a good buck?
You want to challenge your jailbreak.
$160.
Yeah.
Some of these Dodge cars. Maybe the Vet.
Kenny, you know what came to my mind when I read this story? Rook, are we allowed to say when you were up for that thing a couple of months ago?
Yeah.
And remember when Rookie talked to the St. Paul police and said, "Hey, when do I get my gun?" Jokingly, he said that, right? That's exactly what I'm picturing that they're hiring for
You know
these
what,
jobs.
Joe? I need something with a big front bumper because it's going to be 3-4 high-speed chases a day, and I'm going to need to spin these summabitches out on the freeway. So I don't want to do a lot of damage to my vehicle. This could be a lot of fun.
What's it pay, Joe? Does it
George
give a certain
Floyd
wage?
got in here. This is all post-George Floyd stuff. The anti-police. Nowhere is it telling me how I, as a civilian, am supposed to address a speeder. Well, how am I supposed to stop the speeder? That's not in here.
I'm going to take him out. I'm going to do one of those maneuvers, and I'm going to spin that jackass around.
And let my car get crashed into.
Well, that's your problem. You shouldn't have been parking there, you hippie.
Should have been a civilian traffic enforcement officer. Oh, I'd want a badge and a uniform.
Yeah, I need to be official.
Yeah, I got to have some outfit.
I need the hat.
I got to have a hat.
Like the Minnesota State Patrol. I need that hat.
I need a government-issued flashlight. I need all kinds of stuff.
The nightstick.
Yeah. Okay. Good luck to you, L.A., another ruined city in California. Only because they come.
Hold on.
What's that movie where they come up to the guy that's speeding and they do the meow thing? Super Troopers.
Super
Troopers. Yeah.
Joe, along those lines, Portland also says, "Hold my beer." I didn't realize this unless you guys did, and I just missed it. Did you guys realize that May 9th that the Portland Police Department just announced the return of their traffic division, meaning they had been going without one for quite some time. Were you guys aware of this?
No. Not.
I completely had no idea. So and then people are going nuts because they're claiming, well, they're disproportionately racist, yada, yada.
How fun would it be to pull over a cop? Cop just driving down Wilshire Boulevard, minding his own business, and pull him over and give him the business.
Yeah.
You know how fast you were going, officer?
Remember the one guy on New Year's Eve that the drunk guy pulled over the cop and then got in trouble? He's on
Had the fun light on, yeah.
Is that the one where he said, I thought my wife ran away with a trooper and I thought you were bringing her back?
No.
He had the Starsky and Hutch light, right? Where you could just slap it on the roof.
Right.
Yeah.
My friends.
That's the car, that big Ford, Joe.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a tank.
My friends, the Lymans, are taking some umbrage, some taking issue with me. I possibly have been unfair. I did not mean to imply the Lymans were, I say that they're ensconced at the Villages in Florida. And I'm learning that last week on several occasions you implied that the Villages was a swinging place for seniors.
That's right. Yeah, you called them swingers.
When we chose to rent here, we weren't aware of those rumors. So far, we've been here. We haven't seen this behavior and have not been approached by anyone.
It's Fondue Friday. Wink, wink,
Gross. After you mentioned this, we looked up how this came about. Jessica wrote about it on the link at worldwidewaftage.com. You can go there and read Adults Only, Please, Debunking a Myth About the Village's Fabulous Time with Visiting Friends. And if you want the dope on what's happening at the Villages, the Lymans have it on their Worldwide Waftage website.
Okay.
Where they're waiting for new passports and a new travel itinerary and
a call, apparently.
No, they haven't been approached. I can't tell if he's disappointed by that or relieved.
I'm not sure. I'm with you. I'm not
Now,
sure.
they have buffets at those things, right?
I don't know if they have a buffet.
All you can eat. All you can eat.
Take a little break and get some...
Tom, that was Kenny. Tom and Jessica.
Taters.
Get some lasagna or something.
Okay.
Got to keep your strength up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we do have something that happened on this day in history. 1896 on this day.
We're going way back.
That's right.
May 15th.
100 years ain't what it used to be.
That's what I heard.
The St. Paul Saints, at the time, a Western League professional baseball club, played their first home game at Aurora Park, beating the Grand Rapids Yellow Jackets 17-zip.
Wow, shutout.
17
Oh, I bet they were wringing their hand. This is going to be a great
on
club.
this day in 1896, and apparently there was a ball game at Aurora Park, which would have been downtown, and no longer exists. Nor could I have resources where I could find out for you, but I couldn't identify where that park would have been.
I see,
said the blind man who picked up a hammer and saw.
Grab some lasagna.
So the Villages, apparently they're not that swinging as I was led to believe they are.
I went to Worldwide Waftage, and he indeed, or she, Jessica mentions your show and comments that were made, and then links everybody to our podcast. So
oh, boy.
That's nice.
Right.
It'd be fun to see. Remember when he'd get a little long and he'd start rambling on and on, Jessica would just simply place her hand on his arm.
You'd calm him down.
And he'd stop talking.
Yeah.
I wonder how that works at the parties.
All I know is they must really like each other because they just keep traveling the world.
Yep.
I think these two are
Where
my favorite.
to next?
They're my favorite GLers.
Where do you think they're going next?
Well, they're going to, no, he told
Probably
me.
the
It was a European swing, wasn't it?
They got all kinds of plans.
I'm reading Jessica's column. It says having a pink flamingo in the yard is used as an indicator of a swinging lifestyle. We have 2 pink flamingos out
They
there
do?
right now.
Strangers calling all the time. Yeah.
You in there? Well, I bet it's fun.
Are you required to bring like a dish or something?
I don't know where he's
Chips
hung
or
up on this.
What's a potluck
the buffet
situation?
deal.
Yeah.
The buffet.
Bottle of wine? Or, I don't know.
Towels.
GLers, good luck in the state of Minnesota. It's pretty much over as far as we know it, so enjoy yourself while you can. Yeah. Thank you.
We're almost done, Patrick. Rookie's going to wrap her up right now.
I'm going to send you over to PodMN right now on your smartphone for a library of fantastic podcasts, and maybe some that you'll just discover because you randomly went there and poked around. PodMN on your smartphone. GarageLogic.com will get you the town council that Joe referred to earlier. If you're not a member, it's $10 a month or $100 a year, and you can get a Fratelloni's Hardware and Garden Store, $10 gift card for signing up. And then, this is the real. This is the trifecta is going to YouTube and subscribing to Garage Logic on YouTube. A lot of fun videos, early Garage Logic years, quirky videos, all sorts of good stuff. That's at the Garage Logic YouTube page. Subscribe today, please.
Did you ever look up rhubarb?
Oh,
I
yeah.
love rhubarb.
I'll save it for sports talk.
Oh, I could bring that to the party.
They spell rhubarb.